I was just about to say good morning, Maria. Hello, it's so lovely to see you again and to welcome you on this journey that I'm on, um, and the journey that people are on with me, just having lovely conversations, basically.
Well, thank you for having me. It's my pleasure to be here.
Well, so when my second book came out, Maria was one of the people that I felt really flattered to be on her audio podcast, and we had an amazing time together. So Maria, I do this really differently. Instead of me banging on about how marvelous you are, which of course I could do, really, I love people to talk themselves and introduce yourself to my listeners and tell us a little bit about what you're really passionate about. Not what the blogs say, but what's floating your boat right now.
Right. Okay. Well, what's floating my boat this year is I am on a journey to inner peace, but I'm also on a journey to making sure that I experience and actually embody joy uh, each and every day. And I think that's very important, especially this year, because I think that it's a tough time. So I think that the the more we support ourselves through good feelings, which really you have to bring up from inside of you, the better off you are. So that's really what I'm focused on this year, is just trying to, you know, go in the flow and go joyfully. And so yeah, that's pretty much it.
And is that some of the work that you do with people? Because one of the things I love is introducing our audience to amazing people that are out there and doing exceptional things, so that people don't have to just come and work with me. If they really resonate with you, they can come and work with you. So what do
Right.
you do with people?
So my background is, my profession has been in media. I am and have been a media producer, director, writer, mostly in video. But during that long career, I found that I've had cancer twice. So the first time was breast cancer. That was in 2006. And the second time I was diagnosed in 2018 with metastatic breast cancer in my bones, which they told me was terminal, stage 4. And so my journey since 2018 has been to really, well, put cancer behind me. And so I wrote a little book called Put Cancer Behind You. And so I work with people to put disease behind them. It doesn't have to be cancer. Doesn't matter what the form is. It's really the frequency. And so what I learned in all of this, and the reason I'm still here, is because I learned how to go higher in frequency. So I had to learn about energy. I was writing the book, Put Cancer Behind You, and it is a spiritual book about actually A Course in Miracles. I'm a Course in Miracles student. And I thought, I'd signed up to write this little book. And I thought, well, I'm just going to write a little something about the tenets of A Course in Miracles before I pass on. And what happened was I came across an English woman. Her name is Tina Louise Spalding. She is a trance channel. And she was channeling not just A Course in Miracles, but the author of A Course in Miracles, if you've never heard of it, is Jesus. And so it is his original teachings. And so he was going day by day, explaining what each of the 365 lessons was all about. And so since I was writing a little book about A Course in Miracles, I thought, wow. And I was so excited by that in listening to him and in checking what I was writing, it took about 2 weeks. I was listening to him about 2 hours a day, going back and through my manuscript, that I somehow put myself into remission from stage 4 terminal cancer. So when that happened, I thought, my God, how did this happen? And what I had to do was understand energy, because everything is energetic. All of life is energetic, and it has a certain frequency. That means it moves, it vibrates at different frequencies, different speeds. And so there's an optimal speed to everything, is what I found out. And there is actually an optimal speed to a healthy immune system. And obviously, what I did do was I raised my frequency from that of cancer, which is pretty low down here, up to the frequency of a normal, healthy immune system, which is up here. And the two don't meet. If it's not a match frequency wise, they don't meet. You have to take yourself up and down through what you're projecting, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, what you're eating, all things, in order to raise or lower your frequency. So I raised mine and I kept it high enough for a couple weeks to kick the cancer. So now I am interested in helping people not just kick whatever is bothering them or whatever, disease they have or whatever, but to actually live it and to raise your frequency so that you really enjoy while you're here and why you came. And we came with great purpose. Each and every one of us has tremendous purpose here. This is an amazing time on the earth. And I don't believe that we'd be here if we weren't amazing beings being. And so it's in the being of your life, and the frequency that you hold and that you're projecting out into the universe, that the law of attraction, what you put out is what comes back. It's what you reap, you sow. You sow what you reap what you sow. And so that's it. So it's a match. So I'm interested in helping people understand frequency and then apply it to their own lives and be joyful, because that is high vibration. That's very healthy. Yeah.
I love all that, and I vividly remember that what I loved about meeting you was that you've experienced this, and you're radiating so full of it that you're not also operating, which sometimes can happen, in a sort of bullying, shaming thing. And I think that the word Christ, I've just finished a sort of prayer. I'm really comfortable with the word prayer, but it's a sort of every single day, it's working with the higher truths, and Christ means the truth. And I think the truth really does set us free. And
it does. And I'm going to be the first person to say that just because we all come to Earth, as I said, with great purpose, it does not mean that you're going to be free of any physical issues or other problems in your life. It's the contrast of life that propels us forward spiritually. So there is, no matter how people play it, no matter how they live it, what works for one is completely different than what works for another. So it's all good. Everyone's journey is exactly what they should be on, or they wouldn't be living it, right? They're learning something and they're teaching something, no matter how it appears on the outside. So you can't judge anything because you don't know. You simply have no idea what the big picture is of anyone's journey is. So you just have to accept everything. And I teach people, it doesn't matter. I mean, some of my best friends are very ill and will be ill their whole lives, but that is their focus and their journey, and that is their specific mission, if you will, to bring to life and to teach others and to help others and evolve themselves through that in that particular way. So, it's all good, but there are people who, and it doesn't have to be cancer. It could be anything. It could be unhappiness, but it is about raising your frequency so that whatever your path is, you do it optimally. And that is important because that is why you came, is to enjoy your life, no matter what challenges you present yourself with. And you are the architect of your life. And so you are doing this. You are presenting it to yourself to overcome or to live with or to expand by, whatever that is. It's your journey. And so it's all absolutely perfect, and everything is in perfect order. I do believe that, and everything is evolving. So it's all good. But there are, for me, my journey happened to be that I did put myself into remission from cancer. Not everyone will. I understand that. I have had many family members and friends who have passed on from cancer, and that is their journey. And I honor that fully. But there are people who decide that they don't want to do that. And so I'm here for them. But it doesn't have to be cancer, it could be anything. And everyone's journey, I'm not here to tell you how to do it. I'm just here to say, if you want to try this, I'm here to work with you. But it's not what I want for anyone. It's what they want for themselves and how they're learning.
And I think, I mean, I'm always sharing about what I call the law of opposites. You know, in order to be love, very often there has to be the opposite. You know, and what is amazing about Chinese medicine is you're constantly, there is no right or wrong. There is no, you know, the idea that there's positive and negative, you know, as if you have to be kind of manically positive the whole time. It actually doesn't work. That's not energy. And the highest frequency that we can live with is being authentic. And, you know, so I love one of the things that you and I might incorporate in this chat, because just talking about energy is a really big subject. But, you know, when we're hampered with what I call toxic shame, you know, we can, let's take some really simple example, because I've had men and women who've come to my clinics and they've said, I want to lose weight. So they're saying, I want to lose weight on the one hand. And then on the other hand, which is unconscious, you know, the last time they were the weight that they feel comfortable in, you know, some very traumatic event happened. So they unconsciously have their foot on the accelerator saying, I want this. And then they also have their foot on the brake. And it's my job or your job, if the person wants that, to go, hold on a minute, you know, because I often used to have people going, what is wrong with me that I definitely want that, but I keep going in the opposite direction? Am I stupid or something? And of course the answer is no, but they would be, you know, it's very difficult when you're caught in something at a deeper level to quite go free. And
Right.
there are now people, thank goodness, like you and many other people who do facilitate and invite those mismatches, which I believe we all have.
Right. A
The-
split mind, right? It is definitely a split mind. Yes and no at the same time. Yeah.
so, you know, but the other thing we also were going to talk about was, because I love teaching people what their no is in their bodies, because there's, you know, for a very long time, there were so-called experts who, if they were teaching you anything and you want to say no, they were saying that that was resistance. And it's like, actually, a lot of people I discovered, they didn't know what their no was, and they didn't actually know what their resistance was. And you can feel it in your body. You can teach people how to literally get in touch with yes and no. And very often I will, for instance, I could ring you up, Maria, and I could say, this is what I want. Okay. And I could also, because I know myself really well, I could say, and Maria, I know I will not give it to myself. Can you please help me unravel what's the hook? What's going on that I need to bring to the light of day? And I love where I'm talking to you from England at the moment, and we have, I'm right next to the sea, and it's the most grisly, I'm not grisly and I'm not miserable, but it is the most grisly, miserable, wet, damp, horrible, dark day. And our winter often has seeds that are deep down in the earth. And when that seed is ready to come up in the spring, it will. But when it's not ready, it won't. So there is a season for all things and a timing, you know, and I don't know about you, but I definitely didn't become, there are aspects of me that are quite wise these days, not entirely, but I'm a hell of a lot wiser than I used to be. But that didn't happen overnight. Do you know what I mean? I
Yeah.
wanted to be a wise woman, but I definitely wasn't. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah. I mean, and honestly, had it not been for the contrast, the negative side of things, that you would never be the person that you are today. We have evolved through the contrast, through the challenges, through that which is not perfect. Although it is perfect, because in the greater scheme of everything, it's helping you to move forward and it's propelling you. And so, season by season, you know, each season gives you the opportunity to do certain things, and it is an evolution. And when you honor that, and you're not wishing that you were somewhere else or doing something else or things were different, when you're actually honoring the present moment, whatever that moment is, that's you coming into your power and living the way you actually came to live, but you may have forgotten. And so, you know, it's being in the season of your life and not saying, oh, I wish I were. No, no. Honor today and stand in your power, because that's where it is. It's not in the past, that's gone. The future has not arrived. You need to be fully present in the season of your life, whatever that is, wherever you are. Right. And so, absolutely. And I think so many times we're not taught to actually go inside and connect with what our bodies are actually telling us, which is very tied to the earth and seasons. And yeah, so all of the above.
It's very, I think what I love is, you know, whether people believe in a God or a particular religion or Jesus Christ, or I love the concept of this holy man, and I love the word holy, whole, actually sitting beside people and sort of saying, what do you need? And then the next moment, some of the stories would be, you know, we'll get up and walk. And then the next story would be just drinking some wine and making some bread. You know, there's a sort of, if you put aside your unbelief, your unfaith, and just look at them as stories, I always used to think the most significant thing is that Jesus was so whole within himself that he kind of knew by being inside himself how to be with other people. And as a practitioner, one of the hardest things, I put my hands up, one of the hardest things that really we needed to do was learn to get out of the way and just be present. Because it's so easy, you go into a treatment room and you've got all these skills and you've been learning for years, and you know you've got your little white coat on and you're frightfully important. I never felt frightfully important, but it was, you know, there's this sort of illusionary stuff. And what was fantastic was I knew at a very early point that I didn't know what I was doing. So I just kind of asked. I asked to be present, and I asked to get out of the way and just go, what's needed? But for some people, it was just sitting with them. Some people, it was treating them. Some people, it was just holding their hand. Some people, it was literally putting some needles in and leaving the room.
Right.
But, you know, that incredible, the more whole you become, the more capable I've discovered we become able to be there for other people. And then these miracles can actually take place, but it doesn't mean to say the miracle of, yes, you're going to live, or yes, you're going to be cured, or no, I never have to have surgery again. I mean, I'm just about to have a t-shirt created, which is going to have the scans of all the metalwork that keeps me upright. And I'm going to say, all the metalwork is going, the caption is going to be, engineering, not psychological. Because I mean, people are so lovely. They're constantly imposing, you know, can I do some Reiki on you, or can I do this, and can I, and I go, no, could you just please change the metalwork inside me? I was just, you know what I mean? But I know myself well enough.
Yeah.
So this is absolutely the experiences that I have chosen.
And And it's the same for everyone, right? No matter what. We have free will, and we come here to play in a realm of duality where there seems to be good and bad. We've come to that belief, but that doesn't mean it is so. It just is, right? But we see it as good and bad. But we have free will to do whatever we want with that, either or. And we create, and we are magnificent creators. We create our lives, and we have great purpose in doing that. And of course, we're always evolving. So it's quite the journey. And when you are helping somebody or when you're on the receiving end, it doesn't really matter. It's always an exchange of energy. And the bottom line with that energy and what is healing is the love that is in that energy, that is that energy. And whatever that person needs, when you are able to quiet yourself and go inside and just kind of remember to connect to the energy of that person, I think you're more able to, it's just connecting love to love, right? And then creating more love. And that is what heals. Love heals. There's nothing more healing than that. So I think as the healer that you are, and the way you work with people is magnificent, because you listen to what they need. And it's all in the stillness, right? That the feeling of the heart opening, that you come to recognize what others need, but also what you need. It's a two-way street, right? It's everyone's healing. You're healing when you're working with people, and they're healing when they're working with you. Yeah.
I think, I don't know whether I'm sure you're actually going to agree with this, but I mean, this word energy, I mean, I call it dynamic life force because I think that people don't yet quite understand the word energy, whereas my whole training was energy.
Right.
The dynamic life force is flowing all the time.
Yes.
And it can get really cluttered and it can get stagnant and stuck.
Yes.
And yet we constantly do have I personally believe that the seasons and nature is constantly asking us to sort of keep moving. Because if you watch nature, actually, sooner or later, she'll have a bit of a tantrum. If there's too much sort of complacency, she just has a really funny way. There'll be apparently we're going to have a few days now like this. And I mean, I'm consciously practicing doing exactly what I know I used to do as a child. I was brought up on a farm, and it never occurred to me to make the sunshine days the good ones that I liked, and the rainy ones the ones I didn't. It was like every single day for a child was an adventure. Get out on the farm, smell the horses, get involved in the adventure. And I think a lot of energy is engaging. The fundamental joy of working with people is the energy. Whereas if you went, "Hello, Maria, how are you? Please tell me about yourself." You know what I mean? Just which is actually, I mean, that's what we do to each other. Oh, right. You're ill. You've got cancer. That's dreadful. I'm so sorry. I'm no use to you if I'm doing that.
That does not help. People, I know everyone wants to be compassionate, but what is helpful is to be joyful with people who are not in the best of health, and to support their feeling more joy and more love, because that it's the life force, as you said. That is the life force, and that's why we came. And so just because you're not optimal in terms of physical, your body, it does not mean that you can't really have a wonderful life. I've known so many people who had, physical disabilities, but they had wonderful lives. Why? Because they were happy, because they worked on being happy, and they weren't looking to other people to make them happy. They found a way to connect to other people and create an energetic feeling that was uplifting and fun and joyful. And I think that is very healing. And when you enjoy yourself, you're enjoying your life. You are a very powerful being, no matter what. And isn't that why we all came to experience this and take it back to wherever we come from? All of our experiences add to the collective. I firmly believe that. And as a collective, we are moving forward. Sometimes it doesn't seem that way, but we are. And yeah, it's all magnificent. I mean, it really is. And when you have faith that everything is in perfect order, no matter what, you can relax into the present moment and be with the other person and connect and have a great time. And I think that doesn't have to be some sort of loud, raucous time. It can just be a beautifully quiet, great time. But it is a very spiritual experience. It's a very loving experience, no matter how that how energetic that is. It doesn't have to be, you know, big, but it can be little. It can be whatever is right for the moment, is what I'm trying to say. But you just, it's not, it's not a downer. I have never, and the one thing when I was sick is I didn't want people to treat me any differently. I just wanted my normal life. I just wanted to have fun and be myself and keep going. And that's what I did. So, all the people that I've known in my life who've had disabilities and diseases, and no matter what, they never give up because they're in it to just live each and every day. It's so valuable. It just is. And I'm pretty sure you would say the same, correct?
Yeah. I think I can't remember whether we talked about this the last time we met, but Christopher Reeves said this wonderful sentence about, he said, I used to feel such compassion for disabled people until I became disabled. And then I realized that the people I really now feel huge compassion for are the able-bodied, however able-bodied, but they're disabled in their hearts and minds.
Yes. Right.
And I think that, the more, the greater my, I guess, the more I journey in this life, the more gloriously I really get that we're all discovering all of the time actually what is possible. Yeah. And I think, I was talking to someone the other day, and I didn't mean to be controversial at all, but I ended up saying, I think it's very grandiose to believe that we understand initially what love is. Because, I had a lovely girlfriend, and she used to make me laugh so much. She used to say, honestly, people are so arrogant. And she meant it about herself and all of us. She wasn't in any way separating, but she said, honestly, what planet are we on? It's not really love unless it's 2 a.m. and someone is asking for your credit card and you've just maxed out and they're in real trouble. It's not love unless it's thoroughly inconvenient. It's the wrong timing. And she really has a point. What we need to do for ourselves often is thoroughly inconvenient. We've got our hair appointment. We don't want to lose our hair. We don't want to do this. I don't want to have the next surgery. Yeah. But actually, all of it is okay unless I resisted, and what I resist persists. And I really thought that I had a little inkling about love, and of course I didn't. And now I'm so relaxed because I haven't got a clue, but I love going towards it. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's the biggest subject on earth.
It is.
And we all, particularly in the West, I mean, I learned more about what love was and wasn't from being in India and Africa. All the romance novels and everything else that I used to be into, that ain't it, really. You know what I mean?
Oh, that is not it. But I mean, I don't know that I define what love is. It's just a feeling of everything's a-okay, no matter what. And when I slip out of that, then I go inside and I start to work on letting go of everything, all the thoughts and beliefs that took me to that place. And I just bring myself back up, but it's the work you do, right? So our nature, our true self is pure love, because if you believe the eternal, the one infinite creator, God, whatever you want to call it, spirit, light is love. It's all love. Energy is love. There's nothing. It's what holds, and I won't say universe, I'll say multiverse. It's what holds everything together. And so, I think I don't even know how to define it, but I just know that's what is. And so when you get back into that absolute surety of what is, and it's so profound, it's so unchanging. It doesn't change, it merely is. It is the I am presence everywhere. And when you can connect to that going inside, then whatever's taken you down is going to come back up, and you will find the joy, and you will delight in the moment, and whatever, wherever you are, and you'll begin to laugh at all the crazy stuff, and you'll begin to reframe all the negative things, and you'll continue. But that's how we all evolve. And yeah, do I know what love is? I know I'm love. I know that everyone is love. Can I define it? I don't know. I don't even know. It's a feeling, and it comes in a variety of flavors, maybe. I don't know what else to say, but it is something that makes you so happy. And it is the true essence of who we are. Deep down, who we are, our core is love. So we are naturally that way. And so, yeah, so whatever that, I don't know. It's difficult being here on earth, though. It is that. It is a very difficult school to come to. Yeah.
One day I'll get back to one of the first books I ever started writing, and the opening thing is this young woman who everyone at work thinks has fallen in love with someone, and she's just having such fun because she suddenly realized that she's not in love with anybody except herself and her own life, having come from this kind of quite dysfunctional place. And then some amazing things happen. So one day I'll get back to it, but I think that's, it's lovely when you're turned on from inside out. And
Right.
I loved meeting you the first time, because you are definitely one of those absolutely wonderful, wonderful people that has found the switch on inside. So thank you for sharing that with us. And yeah, and we'll put the link to your book and to your work when we go live with this. So we're going to wrap this up for this one. But thank you very, very much indeed.
Oh, you're so welcome. It's been my pleasure.
Thank you.